name is David Ritchie. I graduated the program in September of 2023. My life before Nehemiah. Well, I'm 55 years old, first of all. So there's a lot of years, you know what I'm saying, behind that. So um, I go back to like my childhood because I feel like that's where a lot of my issues started from. Uh, I'm the I'm the baby of three boys. So I'm the youngest of three boys, and my mom is a single parent, is an only child as well. So it was just her and me and my two brothers, and we all grew up. We grew up somewhat close, you know, but I was the I was, as they say, the black sheep of the family. Was always into stuff, uh, just the kid that couldn't get it right, you know. Uh, my mom, as I said, she was the only child. We grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. Uh, so my mom was like, uh, when we stayed in Fort Worth, she was my grandma died, first of all, when I was like 3 years old. So we moved to Dallas. And reason being is that she was trying to get away from my brother, my middle brother, Walter's husband, which is his father. And so, in other words, me and my three brothers, we all had different fathers. Let me put it like that. So we came to Dallas in 1975. When we came to Dallas, my mom met this guy who was, they would always party every weekend, So there was always parties every weekends, alcohol, back in the 70s, drugs and all that. And that's when I started using. That's when I started drinking. Around at the age of like 7, 8 years old. My mom's boyfriend would give me drinks, beer and liquor and stuff like that. And eventually, I started liking the way it made me feel. So growing up, it was okay for us to drink as long as we drank in the house. Even my mom was okay with it. But eventually I would start branching out and taking alcohol and stuff outside, getting drunk outside and stuff like that. Never thought anything about it, So and as I stated, before, me and my brother, we all had different fathers. And like I stated, I was black sheep of the family. So me and my mom, for some reason, she was more favorable to my other two brothers, my older two brothers. But for some reason, me and her would bump heads a lot. I wasn't one of her. I felt like I wasn't her favorite. You know, uh, she verbally abused me, physically abused me, and it made me feel unwanted. It made me feel unloved. You know, I would never want to be in the house. Never want to be family functions and stuff like that. I sought my peace outside on the streets. I felt like the peoples on the street felt more love for me than my own mama did, and that's how I grew up. I'd rather be on the streets, with the friends, with the homies and all that, instead of being in the house where someone is abusing me verbally, telling me I'm stupid, telling me I never be nothing, wishing I was never born, you know? And it just, like I said, it just made me not want to be around her. So So I just chose to stay outside in the streets, man. Also, I mentioned about the guy she met. He treated me more of a son. He taught me a lot of things. Of course, he was, taught me the typical boys don't cry. Uh, he taught me, drink liquor, put her on your chest. All those things I thought at the time were things that, is what a man is supposed to be. He taught me a lot of stuff, and he's the person that I would call my father. Even though he was a stepfather, but he taught me a lot of stuff. You know, so moving on past, school was always. I was always okay with school. I'd go to school, but when I got to school, it was, a lot of peer pressure. Skipping school, skipping class, just doing all type of stuff, drinking, smoking weed and stuff like that. And at the time, all that was supposed to be the cool. You cool if you're doing it. You cool if you ain't cool if you don't do it. So that's how I grew up, basically. And as time just progressed on, man, going to school, just getting in trouble, dreading to have to come home and tell my mom I got suspended for 3 days, telling her, didn't want to show her my report card because it was, bad. I feared her more than I feared people on the streets, because I was afraid of what she would say or afraid of what she would do, and there's times, man, when I wanted to run away from the house, because of the way I felt like I wasn't cared about, loved, but as I got older, man, I started, just started making. I felt like I wasn't needing her permission anymore to do anything. So as I got older, the drug and alcohol started getting worse and worse. 14, 15, 16 years old, still drinking beer, liquor. Weed was just a small part of it. Now I'm up in that age, and now I'm doing PCP, which is, whack or something like that. Snorting cocaine and stuff. And still at the time I thought there was nothing wrong with that, because everybody's doing it, and eventually, man, I just continued on with that same mindset, through high school. But the one thing that my mom, even though she was on me hard and stuff a lot, she asked one favor of me, and that was to graduate high school, because my other two brothers, they graduated, and here I am, the one child that's struggled all through school and stuff, grades and stuff like that. The one thing she asked of me was to graduate, and after I graduate, I can do whatever I want to do, and so I did it, graduated in 1988. It was because, even though I barely passed, but it was still, I wanted to give her that, and so I graduated. And so after graduation, I was like 17, 18 years old. Me and my mom, we got into it. Real argument, real big fight. And so she said that those words that a lot of parents say, if you can't go by my rules, you can get out. So I chunked my keys at her. I literally chunked my keys at her and told her some bad choice words. And I just left with the clothes on my back. And I never been back. I mean, I might have came back to visit and stuff like that, but I never moved back under her roof again because I didn't want to go by her rules. You know, I was tired of being treated, how how I felt I was being treated. And after I moved out, man, things just got, life hit. Like they say, you think the grass is green on the other side. Well, grass wasn't too green on the other side. It was hard trying to find a roof over your head, trying to, having to stay over here and stay at this person's house. And I mean, it was rough. And on top of that, my drug use started getting heavier and heavier. It was more drinking, more use of PCP, which is actually my drug of choice, and cocaine, and just doing all type of heavy drugs, and I still, even though I was doing all of the, I still didn't feel like it had no control. It didn't have no control over me. I felt like I had control of it. I was still in the mindset that this is what everybody do. And I just continued to keep on, using and getting high. I had my first child at the age of 19. I had my first boy, and I was around for him because I always said that if I had kids, that I'd be in their life, because I grew up not knowing who my father was. I can remember when I was like 16 years old, and a friend of my mom, she came over to the house, and she was talking to me, and she was like, "Dave, you look so much like your father." And my mom, I can remember she was in the kitchen. She was like, "Dave, you look so much like your daddy, like your father." And my mom, she rushed in there and she said, "Arlene, you need to be quiet." I said, "Girl, you ain't told this boy." And they started getting to an argument fuss. She said, "No, you don't need to be talking my business. Don't be talking my business." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Well, she was telling me about my father. And come to find out, my mom she was married to my middle brother's father, and she stepped out of the marriage, and that's how I became. So, like I said, when I had kids, and I never knew who my father is. I'm 55 years old. Don't know how he looked. Don't know much about him. Don't even know nothing about him, really. He can walk right past me and I wouldn't even know it. Because my mom never introduced me to him, never told me anything about him. So, like I said, when I got older, I said I would never be that to my kids. And I had my son, and I was there for my son. But unfortunately, drugs, alcohol. Man, drugs and alcohol. I chose all that over him. Running the streets, going from place to place, just growing up, just living just wild, But I still would not accept the fact that drugs and alcohol played a part in anything I did from my 20s to my 30s to my 40s. I wouldn't admit to it, but as time went on, man, I mean, it's so much that I've been through, I've been through so much. At the age of 24, I went into my first treatment program. It's called Golden Gate. It was in Dallas. 24 years old, the youngest guy in there, you know. And the only reason I went into that program was because that was my get out of jail card for me. You know, I had got arrested for some drugs, and the only way that I could get out was to go to a treatment program. So I signed up for it. So I was never on board to trying to stop using at the age of 24. It was a 6-month program. Did the 6-month program. Soon as that day when I was supposed to got out the same day. You know, stayed out for about 2-3 years, got arrested again, and went back to the same treatment program. Only way I can get out of jail was to go back to the treatment program. Did the 6 months, got out, right back to using drugs again. And I mean, it's just been like an ongoing cycle for me for drug using, but me not accepting that I had a drug problem. You know, I never admitted. It took me a long time to admit that I had a drug problem. You know, the only reason I went into most treatment programs was because I didn't have nowhere to go. It was cold. It was getting cold, you know. So, because I had been after I got out those programs the first 2 times, somewhere around, 99, 2000, something like that. I didn't have nowhere to stay. Staying from house to house, staying with this person, that person. I went to prison when I was in 2001. Did 5 years in prison. And even in prison, man, I was trying to find a way to get high, get drunk, you know. But it just seemed like that was a part of me. And eventually, after I got out of prison, it seemed like that's when things just really got just so difficult for me. In 2006, when I was in prison, my middle brother, he died from complications of pneumonia, HIV, and he was on crack real hard. So all that just played too much on his heart, and he passed. And I got out of prison in 2009. And when I got out of prison in 2009, my older brother, I found out he was diagnosed with cancer. My mom had had a stroke, multiple strokes. Then come to find out she had dementia. So it's like the family that I didn't want to be around was fading. The family I didn't want to be around was fading away. Now that I wanted a family and be with my family, it was all fading away. A brother died in prison. I get out. My other brother died a year after I got out of prison. My mom with dementia. She couldn't even say my name. She would just call me boy. Hey boy, come here. Or she would call me by one of my other brothers' names, Dwayne or Walter. She never called me by my name. But I knew why. I knew she had dementia. And I tried, man. I tried to step up to the plate because the last thing my brother asked me before he died, because I was right there with my older brother when he died in the hospice. I was holding his hand. And they were telling us, the countdown where he got this much longer, he got this much longer. And before all that, he had told me, man, to make sure I take care of mama. So that was a promise that I tried to keep for him. And after he passed, I tried to take care of Mama. I got a house, moved into a house with a 2-bedroom duplex house. But I couldn't keep that up. Man, because I was still on the drugs, man. So I had to put in a nursing home. I put in a nursing home in around 2000. So I stayed on the street, homeless and all that from 2010, 2016 and all that. And I went back to the first program I went. I went in 2016 and stayed there for about 2-3 months and found a job. Right back to getting high again. So I left from there and I went to this place in Bunton. It's called Bunton Farms. I was working for this place called Bunton Farms, and the owner, he was had connection with this program called the Men of Nehemiah in Dallas. And I was like, and I heard about this program, they uniforms, marching and stuff like that, and military style, and to help people with substance abuse and like that. But I was still in denial that I had a substance abuse problem. I was still in denial. I remember going to my first time, and I seen these people's coming out with these uniforms on and military. I'm like, nah, I ain't fit to be doing. I'm like 30-something years old. I'm like, nah, I'm not fit to be doing all this. Nah, so they said they couldn't accept me because they didn't like my attitude and they felt like I was gonna be a problem there. So I said, okay, let's go. I don't want to be here anyway, But eventually, 3 months later, it got so bad for me that I broke down because I was so tired of sleeping on the streets, 17-degree weather, sleeping in vacant homes, sleeping in people's cars, backseats of their cars, not having no food, no nothing, man. I remember walking over Martin Luther King Bridge, and I stopped in the middle of that bridge, and I was so tired. I was so tired. The only thing I can think about, man, was just jumping over that bridge into that highway. It just ended everything. I didn't have no more family. Mom dead. Brother. So I wanted to go be with them. But eventually, I went back to the guy from Bunton Farm and told him, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to try to seek some help. So I went there in 2017 and gave it a try. I worked the program, started doing the work, started opening up, started being vulnerable, started being accepted to accept suggestions and stuff like that. And I completed the program in 2017. Stayed clean for about, I graduated in 2018, but I stayed sober for like maybe 3 months, maybe, relapsed, and came back to the Men of Nehemiah, Dallas, and did a fast track there. All the time doing fast track, I was using drugs on the property. I don't know, for some reason I just couldn't let the drugs go. And So I left. They put me out. They tried to work with me one time, and I kept on using. So they said, well, there's nothing else we can do with you, David. We just, we can't let you stay here. So I left 2019, stayed gone for a while. 2020, I came back to Dallas, Nehemiah, seeking help again. And I stayed sober. I completed the program, stayed sober probably 18 months, and right back into my same old habits again. People, places, and things. I couldn't let them go. Couldn't let the people, places, and things go. Because every time I went back to my old places, the old things, I ended up with the same results. Right back to getting high again. Right back to sleeping on the streets. Right back to trying to find out where my next meal's gonna be at. Just doing all type of craziness. And so after I tried to get back into the program, Nehemiah Dallas, they said, no, you done been here 3-4 times. We cannot let you back here. We do have a program in Abilene. Go to the program in Abilene. Maybe that's what you need to do, is get away from Dallas. And I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. So I came here. Eventually I broke down because of, getting cold. So I came here in January of 2023. I came here in 2023 of January and stayed for about 2 months because I was getting homesick, wanted to go back to Dallas. So I stayed here for about 2 months. And I caught the Greyhound bus back to Dallas. And within the 6 months, I had hit rock bottom so hard. Everything was just going apart on me. And that's how I ended back up here in August of 2023. And I came back to Nehemiah Abilene, and I really buckled down this time. I accepted everything. I put everything behind me, the people, places, and things. I wasn't focusing on what they was doing back in Dallas. I wasn't worrying about what they were doing. I was tired of living like I was living. I was tired of hurting myself. I was tired of hurting my kids. I had 2 other kids in between of my drug use. I had 3 kids, and they're all up in age right now. And I haven't seen them in so many years. When I was in my drug use, I haven't seen it. It was years and stuff. And this time around, back in Nehemiah Abilene, I completed the program of September of 2023. Yeah, I might have the dates mixed up, but I know I stayed a year. I did a year here, and they were wanting me to go to sober living, and I said I wanted to try to live on my own. God had blessed me with a good job. He blessed me with a good job, and I remember standing back there in that yard back there, and I asked God. I said, God, if you see me through this, if you see me through this, God, and just watch over and protect me, I made a promise with him. I haven't really told too many people, but the promise was that if, I know it may sound ridiculous, but I told him I would never use again if you see me through this darkness that I've been going through. Because I've been in darkness all my life. I've been stuck on a rock all my life. I done been through a lot of pain. I done been through a lot of things that I'm not even supposed on. It's only by the grace of God that I'm here today, that I'm able to share my story today. Only by his grace and his mercy. And ever since I really truly believe that ever since I made that promise, God has been keeping His promise. Today, I can cry tears of joy. Back in my past, they'd be tears of pain and hurt. But today, I can cry tears of joy of what God is doing in my life. He's blessed me with a roof over my head for the past 2 years. He blessed me with a job. He's blessing me with my kids in my life. I haven't seen my kids, man, in 5-10 years. And they would swear that I would try to contact them through people, and they'd be like, no, we don't want to see them. We don't want to know nothing about them. But today, they called me and say, hey, Dad, when you coming over to the house? Hey, Pops, how you doing? And man, and that's all because of God's grace. You know, being able to see my grandkids, that's all God, man. And it's only because I'm saying it's on His time, It's on His time. Sometimes we had to go through the struggle. We had to go through the pain and in order to be molded and shaped right and to be hit upside the head. So you finished now? Now I got something for you if you just do what I asked you to do. It's God, And I'm grateful today, man. Like I said, God has blessed me in a lot of ways that I can, man. Like I said, I miss my family, yes, my brothers, my mom, but God is blessing me with my own family now, my kids, my grandkids. I'm the elder of the family now. For my nieces and nephews, all of them depend on me and look up to me, because they know how Uncle David used to be. They know how Daddy used to be. And now I'm saying they're proud of. They're proud of Daddy. They're proud of Uncle. And they try their best, I'm saying, whenever I do go visit them in Dallas, they be like, well, you need to go on back now. We done had fun with you. Go on back to where you from, and that's good, And man, yeah, today is good. I'm 3 years sober, August 15th. I never been 3 years sober. Never been 3 years sober. And that's God honest truth. Even when I was in prison, wasn't sober. I found a way. I would always find a way. But August 15th, I'll be 3 years sober. And that's truly a blessing, And me coming to Nehemiah Abilene was a blessing. Because that's what I needed. I needed to get out of my environment and go somewhere else that I didn't know nobody and start over all fresh. And it's only because of Nehemiah Abilene, I learned a lot here. I learned how to, taught me how to be a better person. Taught me how to love, to be loved. Because that's something I always missed in my life, I felt like, was love. But today I'm learning how to love and know how to give love. And it's all because of Nehemiah Abilene. This is my last journey. This was my last stop. So this is where it started for me, right here. My name is David Ritchie, and I am Gabriel Newman.